This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Andy, what's up? This one, hey, I am a little sad about tonight's show, to be honest, because I am inspired, and inspiration sometimes gets me in my feels. How are
Yeah.
you feeling?
Well, I think you're really sad because you're not in the official Rushmore studio still. I think that may
Well,
be part of it,
yeah,
at least.
I had fun hanging out with you. Oh wait, what is happening here? We are not having a little problem being out of there on Facebook for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Facebook.
Facebook. If you're over on the Facebook side, you're not getting us. This continues for a while. Well, hopefully we'll be able to figure that out. But anyways, if you're here in the comments, let me know where you're at. Obviously, you're not on Facebook side. So you're on the YouTube side. What's up, Barry? Barry in the house. And Nolan is in the house too. What's up, Nolan? Nolan is one of my students that has moved on to sixth grade. Congratulations, Nolan. Nolan, last week we had the FNAF guys. You need to share it with all your friends because I've been telling them about it. But man, what's up? Jeff is in the house. And he's really in the house tonight because he is our host for this afternoon. And tonight we are going to do, Andy, inspirational movies. Or you could go motivational movies, or even maybe you could go uplifting movies or something like that. What's up, DJ? Just want to say hello. Yeah, he's coming in, working, saying hello, smashing that like button. Have a great show. Check us out on the replay. DJ, before you leave, share your channel in the comments. You got a wrench? Share your channel before everybody goes. And everybody go and check out DJ's channel. Barry, you're welcome to share your channel as well. You also have a wrench. But here's the deal. We're all about community here. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to everybody so that we can build this community that I've met through the Breakfast Club and Spine Ticks, Bert, Sith, all those guys, and all the different branched off trees, whether you're in the card community, the comic community, cat community. There's all kinds of communities out there. But Andy, uplifting, motivational, inspirational movies. Man,
Yeah.
this is a tough list because these are the movies that are going to make you laugh, make you cry. They're going to kind of just pull at the heartstrings a little bit.
Right.
They're going to maybe inspire you spiritually, motivate you as a parent. They're going to have this underdog story, if you will, as a sports or an athlete. It's such a good list. What you got going on?
Yeah, man, this is everything you said is exactly right. I can't slip into my standard just comedy, although I would say all four of my picks tonight they're not comedy movies, but there's comedic elements in some spots there. But I think that's partly, like you said, these inspirational movies make you laugh, they make you cry, they make you think, they make you question, they make you. I mean, it's just every kind of thing happens in this, and you don't even have to find yourself in the movie in the sense of like this was not a situation that necessarily impacts you, but if you're like me. With the movies that I get into, I get so far into it that I feel like I really know the characters, and maybe that's partly because they're just well written, they're well cast. You know, they've got professionals who are doing this, so they do their craft well. And those are the movies that really impact me. If I leave this movie, first of all, having watched these movies multiple times, I'll get into criteria in a little bit, but if a movie can really draw me in and make me feel like I'm a part of the movie, or at least I know these people more than what is necessarily just seen on screen, I think that is a huge part in the inspiration side. But all that said, I'm a crier in movies. Kirk, are you a movie crier? I mean, I know not with every movie, but are you guys are you cry when you watch movies?
So before I let that cat out the bag, just want to say hello to another cat, Feral Inferno, and Feral Inferno is a video game channel. So Barry, DJ Wise, Nolan, if you're out there, Feral, drop your show as well as Super Retro Force. Drop
Yes.
both of your guys' channels in here so that everybody can come by and sub and hang out with you. But here's the deal. DJ says, I cry some movies and I'm happy to admit it. Oh, I'm going to let you know. I was researching and I was in the old YouTubes and I was like, you know what? Here's my 4 movies. Here's my potential 8 movies when it comes to Benjamin's. Give me a summary short video of the movie, and I cried in the 8-minute video of the movie for tonight. So absolutely. Hey, look, Ferdbird the Nerd is new to the Summit Squad. He hit me up. Also, Hummus Hero is new to the Summit Squad. Both of these guys I've met over the last few weeks. Hummus Hero I met last night in Tiburon show, Retro Tiburon. They were playing some Halo. And I met Ferdbird through all the channels on Instagram, and he became friends, and he's been watching the show today. Look, I got this.
Nope. He kicked himself off. I don't know what happened there, but I think what he was about to do. Good thing I'm on this. You know, we're having a couple technical difficulties today. But for those that are just joining us for the first time today, we are inviting you to this elite club that we like to call the Summit Squad. This is for you. Welcome to the Summit Squad, everybody who's joining Ferdbird the Nerd and Hummus Hero. I think that's the ones, and then everybody else who's already been a part of that, right? Barry, Feral, Inferno, DJ Wise, everybody who's here in the chat. Very excited about tonight. And I did see this, and before we get into this, you were the Barry says you, Kirk, are the weakest link. Goodbye. That's what Barry says about you.
I don't know what happened, but I disappeared and like we don't have a background now. What the? It's there's going that, but I wanted to reach out and touch faith. I wanted to say welcome to the Summit Squad.
For the first time ever, those people who are joining us now get that twice. So just so you know, Kirk, I already put that up there.
Oh,
but hey, you guys
are
welcome twice. And Kirk, what's going on with all this stuff? We got a black background now? What's going on?
I don't know. StreamYard is tripping tonight. Facebook's not working.
Well, Facebook's working now. We got Facebook up. We got Facebook up and running now.
Spine so all stuff's happening. Spine Tick's in the house. So let me sit back in. So listen, while all of you guys are hanging out, everybody here has a wrench so far, except for Hummus. Hummus Hero, I'm going to give you a wrench. I trust you. I met you through Tiburon. Everybody, go ahead and share your pages in the comments before we get started so everybody can go and meet everybody. And Spine Tix is in the house. Let me shout him out. Spine Tix, great bro over in California. He is just a great community. Saturday nights here on Eastern, it's 11 p.m. when it launches. But you can go watch him and join in with the crew. If you have a YouTube channel, you want to be over there with Spine Tix. This bro just passed 150,000 subscribers, I think 2 days ago, maybe the day before yesterday. And he when I first joined in was less than 12,000. So and this is only since like January or so, not even. So go jump over there with him. Ferdbird, yeah, you know Spine Tix. Maybe that's where you met us. But yeah, everybody go down in the comments and drop your pages. You guys all should have wrenches now. So I'm giving you one right now, Hummus. So with that being said, we've got to get this show on the road. And let me see. There it is. Hey, we got 10 folks in the show. So I don't know what's going on with our show today. If you see me jump out, I apologize. Everybody, go love everybody. Go follow, like, subscribe, watch a few videos so that you stick. I know that's always my hardest thing is I go and subscribe everybody and then going back and watching them. Sometimes I forget. But Nolan, you want to know about the Summit Squad? So the Summit Squad, so everybody, Nolan is one of my students. Nolan, the Summit Squad is what we call climbing the mountain of Mount Rushmore. That means you're a part of the Rushmore Show, and you're just part of the family. That's what we call our fans, our friends, and anybody that shows up here is now a part of the Summit Squad. Now, part of being on the Summit Squad, this is what you need to do, especially if you're going to take this journey with us tonight and go through our top 4 inspirational movies. As we go through the show, leave your top 4. We go 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you want to follow, travel with 4, 3, 2, 1. If you got to jump out of here, no problem. Send your last few picks. If you hang out to the end, we're going to do some honorable mentions, which we always do. We call those Benjamins. And we'll see what kind of list we can build today. If we match, it's called a Crushmore. So if you throw some stuff out there, we're probably going to crush with a few of you guys right off the bat. And that's just how this thing goes. All right, Andy, I think it's time. This is probably the longest intro we've had in quite some time. But let's get started. And here, Nolan, throwing you a wrench, bro. And Bird, you're getting a wrench. And Hummus, you got a wrench, bro. So if you bros are down there, go and do your thing. You can follow everybody with those wrenches. So, anyways, it is time to get started and welcome our guest for inspirational movies. Let's get it.
And just like that, we lost Kirk's video again. I don't know what's happening tonight, but look, I'm excited. I will go ahead and take the reins on this one tonight. You've already seen it if you looked at the title of this video. If you just were listening during that intro time, you heard that tonight is all about inspirational movies. And we have a good friend, first time joining the live stream. We met this guy through the conventions, through doing Louisiana RetroCon, got connected with him. And then obviously, as YouTube does, it connects people. We've been able to connect even further that way. Reached out and definitely wanted to get this man on the show. Very excited to bring to the Rushmore Show for the first time, Mr. Retromaniac, a.k.a. Jeff Hufstetler. How's it going, Jeff? How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good, man. Thank you all so much for having me on the show. Andy, dude, Kirk. Well, we don't know where Kirk's at, but
Kirk's trying to come in here, man. It's, I don't know what's happening with the technical things tonight, but either way, we're ready to go. This is live social media. This is what happens. This is what happens when you're live. But Jeff, man, super appreciate you being on tonight. Why don't you just, take a second, say hey to everybody, let them know kind of what you got going on. Tell them all about Retromaniac, what it is that you do, why you go to these conventions and have a blast there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm Jeff. I'm from South Louisiana. Something else that I have in common with Andy and Kirk, but Retromaniac kind of got started with me just tired of kind of sheltering myself. I wanted to get out and get connected with a lot of folks that are in the community of things that I have interest in. Video games being one, wrestling being another, movies also being one. It's just for a long time I was into all these things, but I never really connected with other people. And so I got into collecting retro video games, and I found the best way to build my collection is to sell things, duplicates of whatever game I may have. If I have another copy of it, I'll just sell it and take that money and put it into something that I don't have in my collection. And then I discovered the power of eBay and Marketplace and just selling things in that matter. And then I was able to, through that, connect with other resellers and other guys in the gaming community, and just built a really strong bond. And we have something really special here in South Louisiana. A young guy, Davey Lusco, he's from the Houma area, which is about 45 minutes from where I live. And that's another mutual friend that we have with, Andy and Kirk. And through Louisiana RetroCon, which is Davey's baby, he's connected a lot of us. And so I appreciate him. And then we have another mutual contact, Nick Boudreau, who's a big wrestling fan, probably the biggest wrestling fan I've ever encountered. And he came onto y'all show several months ago. I tuned in.
Hey, we got some other mutual friends.
Who's that?
Yeah. Needs more pull-off.
Yeah, so those two guys there, Mustang Mike, he's somebody I've been knowing since I've been a little kid. So growing up, I don't know how much we're gonna get into personal stuff.
Yeah,
but I grew up in a poor area of Morgan City, and just anybody that has any kind of recognition, we just gravitate towards them. Mustang Mike, he started wrestling in 1994. I discovered him in 97 or 98, and I thought this dude was Hulk Hogan. And and then I found out, and it was just a crazy coincidence, his sister was my next door neighbor. And so one time I saw him pull up in the driveway, and I'm like, that's Mustang Mike. And but he did a lot of things in the community, still continues to do a lot of things in the community. And I remember when he came visit our school, my elementary school, and just all the kids just gravitated towards this massive guy. I mean, you think he's big now. You should have seen him when he was in his prime. And then I started taking my son to the wrestling shows about a year ago, and he connected to the bad guy, Vladimir Koloff.
We connected with him.
So, hey, I just want to address Rad Bash. He's asking me, I'm clipping my toenails. When I stood up, I stepped on a needle or something. I don't know what the heck this is. I was trying to get it out of my shoe. But no, I'm not clipping my toenails. So I took my shoe off. And he also said he thought he saw my crack. Hey, man, look. At least you saw that crack and not the other crack. There you go. That's what I was going to say. But anyways. Hey. Yeah, I wasn't always safe. Anyways, here's the thing, man. I need to stop hitting the videos. That's 3 times I went to go hit a video to share, and it kicked me out. So I'm not hitting videos. Andy,
I'll be on video duty tonight.
You're the video dude tonight. So I'm not hitting them for whatever reason. They keep kicking me out. So I'm just going to sit here like this. So I don't know why I have a needle on my floor. My wife, this is my wife's room. I don't know. It's been. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, crack is crack, man. Yeah. So there you go.
Spine Six said, thank God no foot reveal. That's good.
Well, hey, I'm not into that.
This live is getting off.
That's a different fetish. That's a different show.
This is getting off to a bumpy start.
So we got 11 folks in the chat. Say hello to everybody. And yeah, awesome stuff. It is time to get this show on the road. So inspirational movies, guys, is what we're talking about. And by the way, they haven't confirmed, but back at Louisiana RetroCon, both of these guys said they'd love to be on our show, and I'll be reaching out to those guys again probably in the next week or so for the Nostalgia Month, which is in the next 2 months, and see if they have time. They both said they would like to come on, but we probably have to run into the right schedule with them. And Jeff, I'm going to use you to go and chase them down for me. So anyway,
gotcha.
But we're going to do inspirational movies. So when I looked it up, inspirational movies, actually, Rad Bash, Super Retro Force, which is the same guy. Super Retro Force is like 11, 12, 13 creators. It's kind of like backwards, Culture Box right here, but it's a bunch of video game creators, and they're amazing. And Rad Bash usually, along with a couple of the other guys, run that channel. They were on Retro Tiburon's show last night, kind of messing with me about the inspirational pick. And now Tiburon was like, so a movie that's inspired you, and Rad was like, I don't think a movie has ever inspired me to do anything. And I kind of typed some stuff in. He's like, that's a whole bunch of different movies. So where I got it from is I looked up, like we always do, what's your top inspirational movies, and see what Google says. And right under that was motivational movies. Right under that was uplifting movies. So I started using those 3 taglines along with AI and all the other stuff, and just built out a cool list. And if you didn't hear, I was crying putting my list together because I love these movies so much. And I am a bit of a softie. I know these guys are too. So with that being said, Jeff, you're going to go first. If anybody's ever been around our show, we go by, here they are right here, Rosie and TJ Jazzy Jeff, Link, and G-Dub, which is the George now. That's our order, and Rosie's first. But before you tell us, Rosie, number 4, you got to tell us, why'd you pick these shows? Like, what were you thinking? What was the, like, this is nostalgic. This meant something to me. I've got a little bit of a twist. I kind of have a way of putting these into a category, if you will. What were you thinking? And then we'll go, Rosie.
Yeah, when I think of a good inspirational movie, I think about something that you have an emotional attachment to, something that will cause you to be in deep thought about your own life, maybe a quality in that movie that you maybe want to apply to your own life. Do a little self-evaluation, think about where you're at, and there's something that movie did that just left a mark on you, something that you'll never get away from, something that anytime you think about a difficult situation, you look back on that movie. And so that's what I really considered here when it came to a good inspirational movie for my Rushmore.
Nice.
Screech is in the house, by the way, Retro Card. And also Kev from Random Rips is in the house. Hello, guys. You guys are welcome. Oh, Doc Cards. Doc Cards, a new bro from all these amazing spots. You're a part of the Summit Squad, handing you over a wrench too. All right, dude. Jeff, you are you're first. And by the way, anybody who's got a page, you're welcome to share it in the comments. Everybody go sub and follow. Jeff, you're up. Rosie's number 4. What's your 4th pick of the draft? We call it the line in the sand, because here's the deal. Once you put one on the mountain, you can't go back, man. And so, like, this one kind of is the one that you're probably double dutching in and out a few different movies. What's your number 4?
So when it came to my Roosevelt, I really battled with this one because that means there's going to be a lot of Benjamins that's going to be left out. Some really good ones, some ones that maybe I quote more, maybe I want to rewatch. But for this last, I guess this 4th pick here, the Roosevelt, has to be a movie that I've only maybe watched one and a half times, and that is John Q. From 2002. Woo! Yeah, John Q. One of my favorite actors. One of my favorites is Denzel Washington. You're gonna hear about him again. But yeah, he's one of my favorites, and I didn't go back and rewatch the movie before the show because I wanted everything I said to be raw, be real, and exactly the way that it impacted me all these years, all those years ago. I really wanted that to come out, so I didn't go back and rewatch it. So if anyone that's a big John Q fan watched the movie recently, feel free to correct me if I get anything wrong. But it really, if I had to boil it down to just a few words, it comes down to a father's sacrificial love for his son, for his child. And
yeah, there you go.
I was 12 years old when I watched this movie, and it took me on an emotional roller coaster, crying like Kirk. He's a big crier, but just snot bubbles. Just like couldn't imagine what I couldn't really comprehend what I just watched. And just is this the time where I kind of give a little recap on the movie?
Yeah,
or?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, so 12 years old, I played baseball, and so when I watch this movie and I see this young child, I don't know how old he was, but Denzel's son in the movie, he was a baseball player. If I had to imagine, he was probably about 11 or 12 as well. Well, he collapsed at a baseball game, and they rushed him to the hospital. And of course, they found out that some devastating news about him having this heart condition. And like a lot of families, John Q, his character, John Q and his wife, they ran into some financial issues, and just the medical bills were just so overwhelming. What we're going to do, and trying to come up with the funds. And then he had to get him on the list to be a recipient for the heart that he would need. And just all this emotional turmoil that they all of a sudden found themselves in. And, desperate times call for desperate measures. And this father, I'm not saying is the most Christian way to handle it, but he held the whole hospital hostage. And he wasn't going to get out of there until his son was saved. And one thing that really, really impacted me was that he was willing to take his own life in order to save his son. He would kill himself in order for his son to have a heart. Because if I remember correctly, they had the same blood type, about the same size heart, and just very, very impactful. Long story short, end of the movie, John Q, he saved his son, but he has, you do the crime, you do the time. So he had to do a little bit of prison time. But I want to say somewhere around the court scene, when there was the verdict, there was a moment where him and his son locked eyes, and he looked at him. I want to say he yelled, "Dad," and either "I love you" or "Thank you." I can't remember correctly. Maybe someone in the comments can find that exact quote for me. But man, just everything that father just went through, so his son can have life. That's the kind of dad I want to be. Maybe not hold a hospital hostage, but do whatever it takes to provide for my family, provide for my kids. So as a dad, oh yeah, that's a quality I definitely applied.
This movie is fantastic. I 100% agree with you, and I will say this too. Just to address this in the comments, sports movies are on the they're good tonight. Okay, so let
me address that real quick. So last night in Retro Tiburon, see, this is when you're typing, sometimes it gets confusing. What I was saying, Hummus, was in a few weeks we pre-recorded this past weekend sports movie episode. So guys, we won't have live in a couple weeks because Andy's going on vacation, and we have camp coming up. So there'll be 3 episodes in the next few weeks that are going to be pre-recorded, like our old school, with the fun memes and the jokes and the clips. We'll add all that in like back in the old days, and you guys will enjoy the intro before we started going live. But we pre-recorded a sports episode, and this week is this episode, but sports can be in it as long as it's inspirational. Next week, we have that one already booked too. Go ahead.
But just to this point, John Q, I'll just say it briefly here. You don't go wrong with Denzel. Denzel, everything he touches is gold. There's not even a movie that I don't like that Denzel's in. So, and this is up there in his top movies, top roles, top acting. I'll say this. We have happening that we do, kind of finding spiritual themes within non-spiritual ways. And can I tell you, the love of the Father right there, that is 100%. While we a lot of times want to be that kind of dad, we have to remember we do have that kind of Father in heaven too, who would not necessarily hold a hospital hostage, but he would go to great lengths. I'll just say that to save his kids. So yeah, this is a fantastic movie. I can't believe you're starting here. I'm so excited to see where it goes from here.
Well, man. Here's the thing. I can't believe in my movies I have on my list, this one isn't even on my Benjamins because I love this movie. I own this movie. And you'll see in my picks, but I'll kind of give a little bit about my criteria. All my movies have a theme of some sort. And this movie is definitely the father's love. Like you said, it has a lot to do with parenthood and being a dad. And us being pastors on this panel tonight, I know, Jeff, you would probably buck at that word, that title, but in the church and you're leading people. When we're doing those things and we're there, one of our most valuable things is that God sent His only Son for our sins. And here's the deal: this guy is doing it quite the opposite. And he's like, "Bro, I'm taking mine for the Son." Such a noble thing. This movie, right from the jump, dude, right from the beginning, he walks into the hospital and he's like, "I need a doctor," and they start telling him, "Nah, he doesn't have insurance. He don't have the right things." And all of a sudden, out comes, the Glock or the 9mm or whatever he had. And he's like, "I need help." And then, of course, finds out that he kind of is a match. And now he's like, "Take mine. No, we can't do that." It's just a crazy roller coaster ride. Just want to throw some facts out. 2002 movie. And Anne Hesh was in the movie. Ray Liotta, James Wood, love all those guys. Obviously Denzel, and then there's a couple other small folks that are in a whole bunch of things. That's kind of the main cast. The young fella, his name's Daniel E. Smith, who played the child. It's a great movie, man. I love Denzel Washington. Denzel is definitely finding a way to get on this map tonight, because I'll just say this right out the gate. Andy, if he had a Rushmore of actors, Denzel is at the very top of that somehow or another. 1, 2, 3, and I know he's coming with a movie from him. I just know it. I don't know which one. He's got a bunch that are inspirational. By the way,
tonight could be top 4 Denzel movies. And we could have
we haven't done that yet. So one of the things that we plan on doing in the future is just picking an actor and doing their whole catalog. Denzel is definitely one we're doing. Nolan, you're out. Rest in peace, Ray. Rest in peace, Anne. Absolutely. That is it. That's one of those things that comes up when you talk about nostalgia. Nolan P. That's my student. Man, gotta go, bro. See you next week. Next week we have Dope Smack on for action movie characters. New Orleans' first superhero. So come check us back out, Nolan. Good picks. Let's see what we got coming up in here. We've got a lot of sports movies. Castaway was a pick. By the way, I knew you were messing with me, but Rad Batch's pick, and remember, the Titans would be one of my picks. There is a great movie by Denzel, and there's a couple others way up here that I might have missed. Now that I'm back in this thing, kind of whatever, I'll click those. But hey, yeah, Doc, rest in peace, Ray, Alan, absolutely. So, Andy, you're up, man. What's your criteria and your Rosie?
It's criteria. That's what I do here, because I said it all before. I mean, we don't have to just continue to go over this, but I mean, it's got to evoke some type of emotions, not just laughter. Now, certainly that could be a part of it, but it's got to make you feel. It's got to make you think. It doesn't necessarily, in my mind, have to inspire me to do something in the sense of like, because of this movie, I became a YouTuber, right? Like, not necessarily in that sense. Now, that could certainly be a part of it. But I will just say these things stirred me emotionally to a way. And that's what I would say kind of is the main deal here. The second thing is that, for me, in order to love movies, and this is just personal, is that it has to be multiple time watches. So there's definitely some invoke the crime there. There you go. There's certainly some movies out there that are fantastic that I've seen once, or whatever, something like that. And maybe were even inspirational, but these movies at least inspired me to turn it on again. So that's where I would go with my criteria, which then brings me to my Rosie, my number 4. Now, this movie, just kind of a little. Last week when we had our friends from Five Nights on, I mentioned that there was a specific movie that I put on during as a teacher. I would put on at the end of the year, testing's going on. As a computer lab teacher, it's like, we were kind of limited with what we could do at the end of the year. So I would throw that movie on, and I threw on Wreck-It Ralph. Now, Wreck-It Ralph is not my pick tonight, so don't worry about that. Although there's some teary scenes. There's some teary scenes in Ralph Breaks the Internet, but that's not inspirational. The other movie that I consistently played for the students had a little bit more to do with what we were teaching. I would do some coding. We'd do some computer science stuff towards the end of the year. That was just kind of fun for the kids. And this movie, 2016, I believe, is when it came out. It's starred Octavia Spencer, Taraji P. Henson, Janelle Monáe, Kevin Costner was in this movie, Kirsten Dunst, Jim Parsons, fantastic cast. And I'm going to go Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures is a fantastic movie. This is probably the one movie that I'm mentioning tonight that maybe people would not say, oh, I didn't think Andy would pick that. I've watched this movie partly because we had 7 classes a day, and I played it for 6 years of me being a teacher, or 5 years of that. So you do the math, how many times we watched this movie. But I've watched it since then too. It basically tells the story of these 3 African-American ladies who kind of were in the heyday, the early days of NASA and the space race and sending a man to the moon, right? And that was kind of the whole idea here. Why is it inspirational? So it's happening during this time of racial segregation and all of that kind of stuff that's happening. And there's these highly, highly, highly qualified ladies who are aiding in this, this task of getting a man to the moon. And they're being kind of put down because they're color and because, they're women too. But there's so many scenes in this movie. And I think one of my favorite scenes, it really kind of, there's this moment where Taraji P. Henson's character has to go all the way like across this NASA campus to go to the restroom because it's the colored restroom, right? And she's late to work, and Kevin Costner's the boss, and he's getting mad at her because she's late, and she's finally had it. Up to this point, she's kind of like, yes, sir, whatever. And at this point, she just lays it out. She starts yelling. She's like, man, I'm going to get fired anyway. She kind of lets her frustrations be known, and then it's silent for a minute, and then Kevin Costner gets so inspired, his character, that this is the scene I'm getting to. He goes down to that restroom that says colors only or whatever it says on it, and he beats it down with a baseball bat or like a sledgehammer or something. And everybody's kind of standing around watching, like, what's going on? And he's got my favorite line in the movie, and he says he's sweating, it's hard to breathe, whatever. It's been raining, the whole deal. He's got his sleeves rolled up, and he says, there you go. From now on, we all pee the same color. And it's just a great line in that movie. But anyway, if you haven't seen Hidden Figures yet, go do that. It's such a good movie. There's funny moments in it, but it is really kind of just inspirational to see how these ladies kind of like worked through all of those hindrances and everything to get to the point that they did. So my Rosie, my number 4 is Hidden Figures. You guys seen that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is not one on my radar, but I did see that scene like 3 days ago, I think on a TikTok, which, that's just how the algorithm works. You're looking for inspirational things. It came up, and I saw the scene where she walks into, like, I guess it's NASA, you're saying, but she walks in and she's kind of like by the water cooler, I think, and she's like, I gotta go to the restroom, you're late. And she's like, no, the only colored bathroom or the only segregated bathroom or whatever the title is like 3, 4, 5 miles away. It's like, it's a ways away. And I was like, oh man, this is probably a good movie. It has the lady from Help, which was potentially going to be on a list tonight somewhere, because I love that movie, Octavia Spencer. But
she's fantastic in this movie. Oh my gosh, the acting in this one is so good, man.
She's really good, and I love Costner, man. Costner's so good. He kind of redid his career recently with what is it, Gold the Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love Costner. I'm gonna pick this one up. I'll definitely watch this movie. It seems like my style movie. Um, with the family for sure. With Brit, yeah, she'd love this. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Jeff, you seen this movie?
I have not, but I have to agree with Hummus
Get it.
Hero here. I haven't watched it, but I will.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
do yourself a favor.
Look at
It is
this dude.
such a good movie. I almost picked the Brothers, Farrell. Almost, man.
You know what? Step Brothers did inspire me. Inspired me what not to be. So yes.
Sometimes that's important. Sometimes we need.
It's a lot of not seeing the Hidden Figures. Not seeing the Hidden Figures. I mean, I've seen that one clip. That's it. That is it. And I only saw it recently. So man, I'm gonna have to watch this one. We always make the list and we always check it twice. And I'm gonna drop down in the comments afterwards my big long list like I did last week. All right, man. So I'll jump in my criteria. Here's the thing. I've been saying it from the beginning since we've been chatting in our little group chat. By the way, if you ever want to be on the show, we start a little group chat. You guys pick the topics. Farrell, I know I need to connect with you on X. I hardly ever go to X. I'm usually a Facebook or Instagram guy. But I'll shoot you a message on X. We're starting to do nostalgia in July and August. So July and August will be nostalgia. Just need a Friday that you're free if you want to jump in there or whatever. But anyways, if anybody wants to be on the show, you're welcome. Hit us up on Instagram or Facebook, or even on the Discord, which is all down below. My criteria. So here in the group chat, we always what we're gonna do inspirational movies, and I was like, man, how am I gonna pick an inspirational movies? Almost every movie that came to mind was sports movies. And then I kind of narrowed it down to underdog movies. And then I narrowed it down to, okay, well, which ones drew emotions? Oh, I'm crying. Oh, I'm laughing. And I was like, yeah, there you go. All these movies had to make me laugh and cry. There's a bit of, not all of these are comedies, but they have comedic points. They have comedic parts. There's always very well timed acting. But for the most part, there's something tragic or something kind of a twist or a thing that happens that really just invokes the crime or invokes the emotions. And so that was the big thing. And then the other side part was, okay, well, how am I going to nail this down? Because they started getting a whole bunch. I'm like, I'm going to draw out some themes, right? I'm going to draw out some themes for my movies. And with my first movie, I'm going to really nail out a couple things. One, I'm going to nail out brotherhood of like it's a sports movie, so the brotherhood in the fight of playing the game. I'm gonna go with another theme of just man, as an athlete, there's just something of like the grind, the practices and the going through the season and the mental ups and downs. But this particular movie that I'm choosing, it's already been mentioned in the comments, and we've talked about this actor quite a bit. But I'm going with one of my favorites, Remember the Titans, and that's my Denzel Washington pick for this week. And I know it's at 4, and if my daughter was here, she'd be very upset it wasn't my George. It's her favorite movie of all time. And you might hear this theme as well. It's spiritual theme. We, Andy and I, are a part of something called the Cadre, and a part of the Cadre is my wife actually works for a youth pastor. We kind of consider her the youth pastor of the United States. She's been doing ministry for over almost 60 years now, and she is killing it. It's my wife's boss, my daughter's boss. And when you go to the Cadre, you go with a bunch of youth pastors and other Christians and leaders, and you try to just further in and connect in this bond. Cadre is a brotherhood. And every night she plays a movie shortened with a theme at the end, almost like our Nerd in the Words. If you haven't seen that already, there's a little segue. Go check Nerd in the Word out. It's on our homepage of YouTube. Andy put a great one out on X-Men '97. But here's the deal. Remember the Titans is one of the first ones she's going to show you. And the reason she shows you is because of the racial tension. And she throws this comment out. At least she threw it out in my cadre. And I've been in plenty of cadres. She says it every once in a while. She said, when you watch that movie, that's what real youth ministry looks like. And you've got people that disagree. You got people that love each other. I mean, you've even got guys kissing, which happens in the movie. Old Sunshine laying a big one on them. But at the end of the movie, you've got you've got guys that had total disruption, total destruction, hated each other, and gosh, it's one of my favorite lines in the movie where he comes in and and the nurse says, "Hey, only families allowed." And he says, "What are you, crazy? You don't see the resemblance?" And then later in the movie, the two coaches, one white, one black, one trying to get in the Hall of Fame, the other one trying to finish this perfect season or he gets fired. And there's all these things. They try to rig the game. They try to get him kicked off. They pay the refs. They try and get to the coaches. And they finish the season undefeated. And he can't get in the Hall of Fame because he did. And Denzel hands it over to the coach and says, "You're in my Hall of Fame book." And the other one says, "You're the right man for the job." And they go to Gettysburg. It's so inspirational. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. If you can't get pumped up and laugh, when in the locker room and then cry when you see the car accident, I mean, and just everything that's happened, you're dead to me. So it's about as inspirational as I can get. I'm going really hot. Number 4, Remember the Titans for my Rosie.
Wow.
This is fantastic. And I will say, Jeff, I know you're on here, but I just want to highlight your comment just now. Denzel is the Nintendo of Hollywood. He just doesn't make bad movies. I mean, you're spot on, man. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
He bats 1,000.
Yeah. This movie is even his worst movie. I guess in critics' eyes, I would be interested to see like Rotten Tomatoes, what's considered Denzel's worst role. I don't know. But yeah,
I'm on it.
Someone find that in the comments.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
What is considered to be his worst role? I mean, I guess every actor is not going to hit on all of them, but I have a feeling that Denzel hits on everything, but at least for me personally. Yeah, this is a great, well, Nintendo does make movies. In fact, if you go back to last week's, we talk about a few of those in our video game movies. So, which I'm looking forward to a Nintendo verse. Hopefully that happens at some point. But anyway, yeah, everything you said about this movie, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. I second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth everything you said.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Any search results on worst role?
Yeah, well, the very first search brings up the Rolling Stones movies ranked. And I don't ever like to go by Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stone is the
here we go. Rotten Tomatoes, 47 best Denzel Washington movies ranked. If I go to the bottom on the other direction, maybe we'll find out at least what's the bottom of this list.
The fact that you have 47 movies to rank is impressive in itself.
Well, okay, so I'm just going to tell you this. Number 1 for him on this list, because I got to scroll. It's 1 to 47, Andy, and I know you hate that. 1 is Glory.
Glory. Yeah, now, fantastic.
Now, number 48 is a movie called Heart Condition. And racist police officer Bob Hoskins, which we mentioned him last week, Mario, it has a vendetta against Napoleon Stone, Denzel, as a charismatic black lawyer. 10%.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to shock you, Jeff. Number 47, John Q.
What?
26.
That's insane.
26% on the Rotten
That's
Tomatoes.
the tomato
Let's see what we get.
That
So
list is now invalid.
What you might get that on that score, but it's all about the fan score. That's the one that matters. Fan score 78%.
Yeah, that's better. That's much.
Those critics don't
the
know.
Actors Guild has no idea what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing.
All right. Well, look, we're already an hour almost in.
Time out. Bone Collector is 46.
Yeah.
What?
Get off of that. Go to another website.
Yeah.
Man
Rolling
on
Stone might
Fire
actually be
is
better.
43. Well, yeah. I mean, this is Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
But number one is Glory.
I could see
one is
Glory. I could see Glory being up there. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, look, hey man, we've made it through our first set of the mountain. We made it through there, which means that now we are moving on to what we love to call TJ Jazzy Jeff for Thomas Jefferson. So, Jeff, we're back to you. You don't have to give us your criteria again because you've done that. So we can just jump right on in. What movie is making your TJ Jazzy Jeff for inspirational movies?
So I was real hesitant about putting this one because maybe not everyone maybe I wouldn't be surprised if majority of the comments have never watched this movie. I know you two guys maybe have, but it's a little cheesy. It's a quote unquote Christian movie, but it's Fireproof.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where I'm gonna get a little soft. It came out in 2008, which is the year I graduated high school, but it feels like it's much older. If you watch the movie, some of the acting is terrible. It's Kirk Cameron. He's really the only one that has like true acting chops at that time. Now I'm sure a lot of those actors and actresses got better with each movie, but he was really the star of that movie. He had probably the most acting experience, so his lines were pretty good. But despite of the acting, the movie teaches a really good lesson. And for me, when I got married in 2015, and we kind of jumped right into it. And then 2016 was a rough year. 2017 was a rough year. And then there was times where me and my wife, we just kind of felt like roommates. And a lot of what Kirk Cameron, his character was going through, I can relate to it. And with it being a Christian movie, as I was watching the movie, which I watched it in 2016, in the middle of just the marriage, the turmoil, the difficulties that me and my wife were going through, I felt like that was me in the movie at times. I'm not a firefighter, but a lot of the things he was saying about, you need to respect me, and just some of the battles with his anger and authority, and just I guess just the things that we go through in marriage. It's like, man, I feel like that's me. And while I was watching the movie, it was like I was being ministered to. And to me, that definitely qualifies for inspirational, because after I watched the movie, it's like I knew what I needed to do as a man to get the work done. I felt like God was working on me as I was watching the movie. So now that it's over, I'm ready to get to work. I'm gonna stop pointing the finger at my wife. I'm gonna stop pointing the finger at everybody else, my in-laws. I'm responsible for this marriage, and that's just there's a lot I'm gonna leave out. My wife asked me to leave out. She didn't want the whole world to see that, but Fireproof. The first one, my first one was John Q. It really dealt with being a father. Well, Fireproof really dealt with being a husband, and it equips me. It equips me to who I am now. Helped me get stronger, motivated me to get stronger in my Christian faith. And it's a movie that as terrible as it is, the cheesy lines, the comedy in there, it's rewatchable for me at least.
Nice. Yeah. Good pick on the Kirk Cameron picks here, man. I love this. I'd say that, and I think Spine Chick said it, loved him in Left Behind. When we think of the Christian movies and Kirk Cameron in general, we always think of Left Behind, but this is one that probably, I guess, like you said, mass appeal. Maybe not as many people saw this, but what I love about this is the fact that you just have the personal tie into it, which is kind of what all Rushmore is about, right? I mean, it's just because which surprised Barry said Fireproof is also his number 3. So you guys had a crush more on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. But can I throw this out there? You took one of my very good Benjamins, and I kind of had a feeling you were going to do this. And the reason is, when you mentioned our inspirational title, you went like Fireproof. And I was like, oh, it's at least on its radar. Share a story. Just so your wife, here's a great story. and you hear the great story and the 12 friends that are here. And yeah, I'm trying not to cry, but I'll just share this to you, Jeff. Um, Andy and I both weren't always pastors. Um, Appear into 2010, my wife and I had just got married. And from 2010 and a half to almost, we got married in 2008. And then at the end of 2010, going into 2011, so I went to the back end, we were separated and we were not together. And we're happily married now. You just saw Cannon kind of pop in. He wasn't born at that time. He's my miracle kid. But when we remarried or we renewed our vows, I hope nobody jumps off for this. This is probably one of the best things you're going to hear on YouTube today. My wife and I got sober, and yesterday was my sobriety date, 13 years. And then 2 months later, my wife made 13 years, and we got back together. We redid our vows at the cross, which is behind Andy's church right now in a little park area, and it was built by pieces from Katrina. We redid our vows at that cross, and at the cross, I realized I wasted a few years of our marriage, and she did too. And on our next honeymoon, I decided, if people do this, I just wanted to try it. You can do like year 1 of your honeymoon. It's the year of paper. Year 2 is like the year of iron or flour or whatever, glass, and it has all these different things. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 because it would have been my 5th year anniversary, all at one time. All at one time. Now, 3 days. The reason I'm sharing this with you, Jeff, 3 days before my wife and I separated and basically kicked me out the house, and she started dating another guy in my house, we started the Fireproof book 3 days before it. And here it is. This is the exact book. Year 1 of the anniversary is paper. And I restarted the book without my wife knowing and did the whole thing and gave it to her 40 days, because it's a 40-day challenge, 40 days before our anniversary. And on day 40 was the very last day, and you're supposed to write marriage vows. And we got remarried. And wow. I then bought Fireproof for Teens, Fireproof for Parents. I love this movie. Share this with you. My wife had to go to rehab for it to get help, and the one reason I'm a pastor, one reason I gave my life to Christ, to do all the things I needed to do. The few people that stuck by me when I said I wasn't getting a divorce, and they said I was crazy, and the world said, "You're nuts. Your wife is having an affair. She's strung out. She's doing whatever. You need to get a divorce." The few people that stayed by me are the pastors at that church that Andy is serving in. And I love those guys to death. I hung out with them this weekend. This is a phenomenal pick. I'm so excited you said it. I was going to say it for my number 5, but I kind of had a feeling you're going to bring it out. So there you go, guys. And I'll share it. Look, and I'll share my testimony anytime anybody wants. The whole thing. It needs to be a book, to be honest. If you ever want to talk, or you have prayers, you're going through things, you're having struggles, you're having addictions, affairs, pornography, alcohol, drugs, I have that. You're welcome to always message us, DM us, and we'll pray about it. And we'll talk about it. We'll hang out. I'll walk you through it. That's what being a leader and a pastor is about for me. And that's why we started. My reboot. My mind in a weird world today. So you guys didn't know you walked in on that, but there you go.
Hey, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that.
So
absolutely, man. So this is a great pick. So excited that you picked that, and Kirk was able to share that. So I I guess we will go to me, right? Are we on me now?
DJ Jazzy Jeff for you.
DJ Jazzy Jeff. The next three are no-brainers for me, right? I'm not surprising anyone with these three picks. These were, when we said inspirational, I said, what's my number 4? Because the rest are already set. These three can be put in any order. It really depends on the day. So there's not really much delineation between them. But for the sake of the show, I put this one as my TJ Jazzy Jeff. Gosh, I'm just going to come out and say it. Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is just, it's so good, dude. There's not a moment in this movie I don't, and I was thinking about, like, what's that moment in a movie that's the inspirational moment? I shared it, kind of the big quote, the scene, and certainly there's other parts in the movie of hidden figures that are inspirational, obviously. I don't think there's a scene in Forrest Gump that's not inspirational. In its own way. In its own way, I will say, I can't watch this movie. I don't even know if I could talk about this movie without crying. It is it's as close to a perfect movie as you can get. I mean, it's just insane. Life is like a box of chocolate. There's just, golly, there's so many good things. But we talk about Forrest's, his run across America, right? Like, this, what an inspirational moment. In that moment, he just felt like running, so he ran, right? We talk about him coming from having these issues with his legs as a kid, and being able to then kind of make it through that side of things. We talk about growing up in an area where he went into the military, and he just all of the things that he got to do through that, his love for Lieutenant Dan, but also for Bubba, but his friendship in the sense of Bubba had this dream of this shrimp company, so he just said, you know what, this is what we're going to do. I just love this guy so much. There's so much inspiration from the friendship side of things. There's so much friendship or just inspirational side of, like, his love for Jenny, and it doesn't matter that she was going through all the things that she was going through, the fact that he still was with her. Gosh, when it gets to the scene when they finally get married, but then she's really sick, I'll tell you that scene when he's crying at the graveside for Jenny is just, it breaks me every single time. The fact that when their son comes in and he just realizes it for the first time, and his name's Forrest, and she says, yeah, just like her dad, just like his dad. You're like, oh gosh, the weight that you feel on yourself in this movie is just beyond. It's just amazing. This is in there in the top 4 movies for me of all time. Like I said, this could be 1, 2, or 3 tonight. It really doesn't matter between these ones here. Forrest's dedication to his mom, taking care of his mom, and just, golly, everything that happens in this movie. I don't know. I mean, we could talk about this. We could do top 4 scenes in Forrest Gump. We could do a Rushmore of that. This is just a perfect movie. And I'll say this, just the score of this movie brings tears. Like, you know what I mean? Like that scene when the paper's floating through and it's just going all over the place, and you hear that song. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's a perfect mix of comedy. It's got some comedic moments obviously in it, but it is such a heartfelt movie. It's my favorite movie.
Dude, I love what's going on in the chat. So many.
It's blown up. I haven't even had a second.
So many awesome quotes, man. And look, I kind of got lost in my story. I missed out on a few people. Some have come and gone already. Brian Basketballs, I saw jumped in. He's a cool bro from Spine Ticks, Sack Sports Card and Collectibles. That's Modern Day Breakfast Club and Spine Ticks, I believe. And Chris, Jeff? Is this your friend Chris?
It's actually my brother.
Oh, welcome, brother. Chris.
And there's an amazing story behind it. I really believe me and Chris, we can kickstart a movie that's Hollywood material, because I discovered Chris through Ancestry DNA. We discovered each other in 2018. We met in 2021. We have the same dad but different moms, both adopted, and I grew up thinking I was the only child, and but I always would kind of stare at the ceiling thinking, like, man, what if there's a brother out there? What if there's a sister, a sibling, or anything? And God brought us together at the right time. So yeah, I'm so glad he joined in. He's a big movie buff as well.
Well, look, Chris, I know you just jumped in, and so you didn't get to see it earlier. Andy, hook that dude up with so I don't get kicked out
Yeah,
here.
I forgot we got to do that because, yeah. So we're gonna welcome to you to the welcome to the Summit Squad, Chris. Man, that's our friends, man.
The Summit Squad is just a fun way of saying this community. I just handed you a wrench. But anybody in the chat, man, leave your channels so we can bump your channels as well on our off time and make this community great. So welcome to the Summit Squad. Yeah, toot toot. That's Brian Basketballs. That guy calls out everybody that comes to the show and then gives them a toot toot. It's freaking crazy. So, anyways, what a great movie. I knew you were having this. Forrest Gump's your thing, man. Forrest Gump's on every single list you can throw. You had it in war movies.
It's a war movie.
You had it in whatever. I mean, you'd put it in shrimping movies. I mean, like what? I mean, like whatever.
Probably one of my favorite animes of all time. It's definitely one of my favorite animes for sure.
Yeah, favorite animes. Tom Hanks movie. Gary Sinise, Robin Wright. So when I was typing all my movies, just a heads up, out of all 37 movies, I was talking about box office. This one was on my Benjamins. Kind of knew you were throwing it out there, but it had the highest grossing movie out of the 37 movies was Forrest Gump. Quotability is great. My favorite part about this movie is it's historically fiction. So, like, he shows up and he shakes the hand of the president. He's running for Alabama. He's in the war. And there's all these different, like, scenes from, like, the Black Panther Party, from, like, actual things that happened in the world, as if you're looking through a guy that just so happened to be everywhere. It's an awesome movie, totally inspirational. I love what you said about the Jenny, at the gravesite. Man, that's a crusher. That's a crusher. Have you seen the guy who played the kid for Forrest Gump?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't it? What's his name?
Michael Connor Humphreys.
Oh,
is his name? I've seen this guy before, and I was like, gosh, I would have never picked that to be the guy. Anyway, yeah. So.
Rotten Tomatoes, we like talking about that audience score 95.
90.
And it's like that 5%.
Niner 5.
Who's the 5? Who's the 5, man? That don't like.
Who's the 5% that doesn't like Forrest Gump? Oh my gosh, Andy! I'm interested to know that movie you said you had me pegged for. I don't think it's this one. But you're probably going to be like, oh man, I knew you loved that movie, but I didn't think of that one. But I'm sure, think you have maybe my top 2 pick. You have my top 2 pick. Possible. But yeah, I'm going to go with, he's on my mountain of actors of all time for sure. This guy, I talk about him all the time. Here, the theme for this movie, some of y'all don't know this, but I mean, if you're new around, you don't know this. Not only are me and Andy pastors, but we're teachers. And I'm going with a movie about a teacher. But this particular movie, he's like a professor, if you will. And it's a guy who is a freaking genius, and he's the janitor. And I am going with my bro, Robin Williams, in Good Will Hunting.
Nice.
And I love this movie. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Robin Williams. Robin Williams is Matt Damon is this math genius. He works as a janitor. He's an orphan child, or he's an adopted child. He lost his parents early as a young child. And he feels like he's always been left. He's always been rubbish. He's always been somebody's trash. And his best friend has been Affleck, and he's just so smart. He's a math genius, and he shows up at this university. He's scribbling things on the board. He's solving this miracle problem, and then one of the professors goes to chase him down to give him a job. He's going to give him this crazy job, and he doesn't want the job because of some whatever. Here's the theme for this: chase your dreams. This is one of those movies. Chase your dreams. One of the themes of this movie is the guy that is really out there, and he's willing to give up everything for some stuff. And one of the things is he doesn't want to move out of town. He's like in Boston. That's where most of those movies with Affleck and Matt Damon are. It's in the Boston area, and he meets Robin Williams, who's another guy. He's actually the he's like psychiatrist at one time, or he's like serving as a psychiatrist, but because of a painting. He loves his painting. He finds out Robin Williams' story. Robin Williams was a hopeless lover. He lost his wife, and he missed the Red Sox game, which I can't stand the Red Sox, so I was kind of chuckling for that part. But it was the Carlton Fisk game. Misses the game because he was trying to chase his wife and serve. And here's the thing: one of my favorite lines in the movie, other than the "How about them apples," is when Ben Affleck comes up to him. He said, "You know what my greatest part of the day is? It's the time I leave work till I come to this house, hoping that you're not here." It's setting up a great moment at the end of the movie when Ben Affleck shows up and he's not there, and he takes the dream, and instead of taking the job, he chases the girl, and then, man, I'm getting chills. I was watching this 8-minute summary earlier today, and I'm bawling, crying, thinking about the first time I watched this movie. I was a drunk then. I was double fisting 2 malt liquor 40s by myself, I'll say, in my Air Force dorm. And this was one of my DVDs that I ended up purchasing, and I love this movie. Gosh, it's talking about inspirational. It's driven me. You know, when you're talking about fighting for your wife and those kind of things, there's moments in this movie where I was like, I mean, I wish I was as smart as him, but I try to chase my dreams every time I can. Move to South Atlanta. I love this movie. Good Will Hunting is my THS Jeff. Sorry, my number 3.
Yeah, this is so Robin Williams was, I didn't have you pegged for this Robin Williams. Maybe that's still happening. Maybe you went a different route. Who knows? But yeah, this is a great movie. How about them apples? I did want to say, random rips. Good Will Hunting 2 hunting season looked promising as well.
You know, it's funny. I never really understood the title. I don't know why, but his name is Will Hunting.
Yeah,
and I was like, what's Goodwill Hunting? Like hunting at Goodwill.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I've done Goodwill, and I've hunted for some stuff at Goodwill before, for sure.
I actually went hunting in Goodwill the other day and found nothing but some stinky urine at the door.
Well,
yeah,
it was. You found what you put at every Goodwill. Anyway, yeah, this is a great pick. Jeff again coming in with a great comment saying that Robin Williams is in the same tier as Denzel, just a different style actor, but elite. Yeah, I would argue if we're going to give you top 4 actors, you might be a little crazy if Robin Williams
ever do top 4 actors. He's either 1 or 2 for me.
Yeah, you heard it here, guys. Yeah, this is a great movie.
And Denzel, as much as I love him, is probably number 5.
Wow.
I've been thinking about this for a long list. He's 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. He's bouncing. He might make the line of the sand, he might not. But there are absolutely definitely 3 guys that 1, 2, 3, and then boom, it's this.
Jeff, you a fan of Good Will Hunting?
So I'm not too familiar with the movie. I know it's on nearly every inspirational list. I
So
mean,
you mentioned, Jeff, you're going to come out with a whatever. This one's 1989. In 1989, it was at the end of the 80s, right? But
I was born in I was born 1990, so I just, you know,
wait,
with
I may be wrong. No, Good Will Hunting was 97.
I was going to say, this
okay.
is yeah.
Well, yeah, I haven't watched it, but it's an all-star cast. You know, you mentioned all the top actors in that movie. Same thing as Hidden Figures. That's another one I'm gonna have to add to the list.
So I'm agreeing with Random Reds. Tom Hanks is in the running. Daniel Day-Lewis. Now this is a fun character. He is always up for being the greatest actor of all time. His catalog of, like, when I say Daniel Day-Lewis and I ask just anybody out there, most of them only name No Country for Old Men,
But
or
Daniel
maybe
Day-Lewis,
Last of the Mohicans.
I feel like Daniel
Other than
Day-Lewis
that,
does a movie
people are
every
like-
6 years.
What's that?
Every 6 years he does a movie. Like he's
I
not
know, but like
consistently-
he's so phenomenal, but he's never like the blockbuster guy. You know what I mean? He's a fantastic actor. But one of my favorite, Last of the Mohicans is one of my favorite movies of all time. Could be on this list. And Daniel Day-Lewis was on that movie. But yeah, he does make a lot of movies. Yeah, and Gary Oldman. Wow, Chris, that's number one.
He's fantastic.
I'm not dead doubting on Oldman, but man, that's some royalty at number one. Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis. No. Yes. Daniel Day-Lewis, right? What's the big movie he made? Is it not No Country for Old Men? Or right around the same time? Look it up.
Yeah.
Fact check. What's the last big movie he made?
There Will Be Blood.
Ah, that's it. There Will Be Blood.
Yeah. He was in Lincoln.
There Will Be Blood.
He's in Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln's awesome.
Gangs of New
York. That was when that's a great movie too, Gangs of New York. But anyways, you're right, Gangs of New York. But all right, so we're at the halfway point. 10 guys still hanging around with us. Listen, don't leave yet, but we have a few commercials. Our first commercial is, as you've heard, we're both pastors and we serve at some conventions. And the convention that we met Jeff at, Louisiana Retrocon, this is their old flyer, but Louisiana Retrocon is coming back. This is last year's fall one, but September 14th and 15th over in Morgan City. And what we do is we go down, we have a little booth. You come and visit with us. We spin the wheel, have top fours. But here's the deal. We actually do a Christian message on Sunday based off of some of the things at the convention. Last year, I did it on Five Nights at Freddy's, who were our guests last week. And this year, Five Nights at Freddy's the theme again. I'll have to probably come up with something a little different. But with that being said, Reboot is on the front page of our page, and you guys go check that out. There's a couple messages out there right now. This is Reboot down here, right under us. Look for that logo, Nerd in the Word. Go check that out. The last thing that we want to share is actually this Culture Box, and it's probably going to scroll down there at the bottom. It's the last thing. Culture Box is 6 different Christian channels that we partner with to make one. We're the Avengers of the Christian pop culture. And we're going to just highlight one of our friends today, as everybody kind of highlights one of those movies one of those groups every week. And so we'll highlight our good friends today. Andy, who would you like to highlight today?
Yeah, let's talk about our friends over at The Cellcast. The Cellcast is hosted by Jacob and Drew, and they review animated movies and TV shows, discussing what they appreciate about the medium in whatever form it takes. Whether it's a traditional hand-drawn animated movie, claymation shorts, or a 3D CGI series, check out some animated reviews when you subscribe to the Cellcast app, thecellcast.podbean.com. And don't forget, Cell is spelled with a C and a single L, at thecellcast.podbean.com. Go check them out. Let them know that the Rushmore Show sent you. Good friends over there with Jacob and Drew. And I think pretty soon, Kirk, one of our episodes should be coming out with them where we talked about some shorts, man.
Yeah, so we did really shorts, Disney shorts. And we're talking about that because Jacob is getting married. And so that's their filler over there. Go tell Jacob and Drew hello for us. They're good buds. You can find them on Spotify and you find them on Facebook. Their YouTube is there. Go support it, but it's usually just the volume side. But anyways, now that we're there, let's finish off this mountain, Jeff. What is your number 2, your link?
My number 2, let's see. Well, it was mentioned already, but go ahead and say it. Remember the Titans. I don't know if there's anything more.
Go!
Had to throw that out there. Go ahead. What you like?
Remember the Titans?
I don't know if there's anything more.
You got 2 Denzel movies on your thing.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything more I can add to it. I really like what he did when he brought out the ministry aspect of it. That's a great way to think about it. When I watched this movie, I was 10 years old and I was completely unaware of racial issues. We learned about it in the history books, and but where I grew up, we just didn't have a problem with color. Matter of fact, in elementary, I remember this came out, I want to say I was in 5th grade, and I want to say, my 5th grade class, I was one of 4 white people, so the rest was all African American, and so I never had a problem with the racial issues that some parts of the world, some parts of this country may have struggled with, and so I really love the unity factor that the movie brought out, though, and to try to be a little different from what Kirk said, I learned a lot about leadership at a young age by watching this movie. I don't know how many kids my age grew up wanting to be a captain like Gary Bertier or Julius Campbell. That was the two linebackers. Left side, strong side. How many times have we said that with our friends? Mm-hmm. And just a powerful movie that has incredible rewatchability. I remember my wife. Let's see, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, never watched Remember the Titans. I almost kicked her out the house. Like, are you kidding me? That is like, that's just an iconic movie in general. It's an incredible movie that has so many life lessons, regardless of what age group. I don't care if you're 10 years old. I don't care if you're 18. I don't care if you're 75. There's so many life lessons in that movie, and it personally taught me a lot about leadership and just unity, and just when we can come together, imagine what we can get done. I say that all the time at church, being in the same church, not everybody believes the same. It's incredible, same denomination, but not everybody believes the same. But if we can focus on our common ground, what we do have in common, and just come together as a community, imagine what we can get done. And that applies in the workplace, that applies in the family, that applies in the gaming community. There's a lot of toxic personalities out there, but imagine the good that you can do if you just put your differences aside, come together as one strong bond, one community, one heartbeat. I don't know if we have any LSU fans out there, but one team, one heartbeat. Imagine what can get done.
Let's go. Wait, talk about LSU. Today was an inspirational movie. Today, when Monster Malam hit 2 bombs to win on a walk-off. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Hey, wait, look. One of my favorite things about Remember the Titans, Andy, I can't believe you didn't bring this up when I was talking, but I love the meme of Ryan Gosling, right? That says, girls can love Ryan Gosling all they want, but let's not forget he was an absolute liability at cornerback in Remember the Titans.
Absolutely.
Get him out of here.
Yeah. Yank him, coach. Get him out.
Get him out of here. Hey, remember, guys, if you're in the chat, go sub and hang out with everybody. We got video game guys, we got card guys, we got cat guys, we got comic guys. Go follow them. But great picks. Dazed and Confused, I found it inspiring. Hence the tie-dye logo random rips. Yeah, a little tie-dye. Hey, look, I'm just like alcohol. I haven't done that, but I haven't done that even longer because I quit. I actually, when I enlisted in the United States Air Force, about a week before that, I had my last bit of that, and I was nervous I wasn't getting in, and somehow I passed. But man, yeah, go Saints. Yeah, who dat? We're Spencer Rattlers, who we're pulling for. Let's go. All right, my inspirational 4. Look at Chris knocking out Rocky, Rogue One, Notebook, Hacksaw Ridge. I'm just going to tell you this.
Wow.
I didn't even think Rogue One, but those other 3, stay tuned. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll go into mine. I mean, we've talked about Remember the Titans enough, I believe, here. I'm going to go with my next one. Without a doubt, this was on my list. And I'm just going to give you the quote and let you guys fill in the blank. Well, I guess it comes down to 2 simple options. Either get busy living or get busy dying. Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption is my link. It is such a fantastic movie. I will say this, when I talk about my favorite movies of all time, there's Wayne's World and there's Shawshank Redemption. And that just kind of encapsulates my taste in movies. But every single time, I can't even tell you how many times Shaw Redemption has come on and I've just stopped what I'm doing. And I say, I don't even care if it's halfway through the movie. I'm catching it. Most of the times now you're streaming stuff, so you catch it from the beginning. But my parents still have cable, so sometimes they'll just turn on AMC and it's halfway through, and we're watching it, right? Goodness, there's so many scenes in this movie. That quote that I just shared from Andy Dufresne, but you talk about Andy escaping from prison, and honestly, Kirk, like I'm thinking about. When I do some of these devotionals, I'm going to do a lot of like just my favorite movies because there is such a huge spiritual lesson to gain from the discipline that it took for Andy over years to just chip away and chip away and chip away at this. He knew the plan and he just worked it. And it was, I forget how many years it was that he chipped away and finally got
like
away.
40 years. It was like 30 something.
I mean, like how many of us are willing to do something that consistently, knowing what's at the end there too, and knowing that it may not even work in the end too. So that plan that went through, he knew he was innocent. Gosh, I will tell you, and if I were to give you a top 4 iconic scenes in movie history, when he's escaped and he's in that and it's raining and he just takes his shirt off and he's looking up at the sky and that shot goes up. I don't know if there's a more iconic scene in cinema. I mean, I just don't know. That is fantastic. We talk about, listen, we want to say actors. Maybe we put Morgan Freeman on our list too. The whole scene. I love Andy's scene when he just locks himself in the warden's office and starts playing Mozart playing the whatever over the loudspeaker. And it gives everybody just a moment of like, here we are back in kind of just normalcy or something. You talk about the parole hearing for Morgan Freeman's character for Red and his whole like, it goes year by year by year. He's telling them the words that they want to hear. And then finally gets to the point. He's like, I don't even know. I mean, you tell me if I'm a changed man, because really it doesn't matter what I say. You're going to stamp it. You're going to whatever. That whole scene is fantastic. Oh man, this is one of my favorite. And then it culminates here at the end when 2 friends, they got together in the worst of situations, in prison. This is not the place you want to do that. But when they get to reunite at the end of this movie in Zihuatanejo, it is just fantastic. And Kirk, I see you waving it. It's in my office at the church. Wish I would have thought to bring this, but you talked about Jeannie Mayo and Condre. Tell them about it. Tell them about Zihuatanejo.
So, Andy, do me a favor. Can you just hit the button?
Oh, here we go. I'm just gonna do it. Tell them.
Listen, here's the deal. If you have been around long enough, you know a little bit about Cadre, and this is one of my favorite things at Cadre that they do. She gives tokens. So my wife's boss, she gives tokens, and if you know the movie, Andy gets out. He tells him, "I'm going to get out. I'm going to go." He steals the outfit. He gets out. He goes to the bank. He set up the bank because the whole time he's running that deal with the prison guard. With the warden, and he ends up making himself a fortune. And he tells Red, he says, "Red, if you ever get out, go to the tree." And what's it? Buxton? Is it Buxton? Somewhere. Go to the tree in Buxton, I think. And by the tree, he pulls over the stone, and there's a box. He opens up the box. In the box is some money, and then there's a note. Now, what Jeannie does is we watch the movie, and then she gives you a token. And I'll read you this real quick. So just like Andy had, there is a note in here. And this is to youth pastors. But listen how amazing this is. If you're a youth pastor and you know somebody that's a youth pastor, man, this is a great thing to be a part of. It says, "Dear cherished Cadre friends, Andy was right when he said to Red, there's a place inside a man that they can't take away from him, a place called hope. I want you to remember tonight for as long time. Please remember that I sent you to my backyard. In her backyard, she buried these. We had to dig them up. And to dig up this small box, we'll call it your Ziwatanehu box. Keep it somewhere that your eyes will see it often. In the day, that's great. Often in the days and even the years ahead. And every time you glance at your box, remember that Jesus still smiles to make your secret dreams become a reality. Let's go. If you're simply will not quit, you refuse to quit. Paul had it right when he said, we have a strong place of safety in him. We run to Christ as our refuge. Our job is to hold on to hope he has set before us. This very hope has become the anchor of our souls. Here's my box. And inside, she even put some postcards to reach your dreams. It's so awesome. My number 2, also Crush Morin, is none other than Shawshank Redemption, Red and Andy. One other thing, if you watched us, we've been sharing a bunch of shorts. Kind of gave away Forrest Gump and Shawshank, knowing Andy was going to drop those bombs. But there you go.
Yeah,
my number 2, Shawshank Redemption. I love this movie. And also, hey, Andy, I'm going to say this. I also love it, and I think this just off the top of my head. I love it because you love it. I know that it's like your favorite movie of all time. And whenever I see it, I'm like, yeah, I think about Cadre. I think about you. I think about our families. It's just really awesome. And being like, whoa, let's go to Ziwatanejo. Let's get there, bro. Get to those dreams, man.
Yeah, finding your Ziwatanejo. I think that was part of it too, like figuring out what that is for you. So, Jeff, Shawshank Redemption, what you think about this? Well, you've heard what we have to say.
It very well could have been on my Mount Rushmore as well. It's definitely one of my Benjamins. The only reason why I didn't include it because I was so young when I watched it. I have watched it again, but I feel like
it does have a little bit of language.
It does. But let's talk about Morgan Freeman. I mean, we talk about Denzel. Does he ever do a bad job? I mean, not to say that all his movies
Freeman is in the running for my mountain too.
Yeah, not to say that all his movies have been great, but he's always done his part, and he's always done his job. I mean, he has that legendary.
I didn't bring this up, guys. The theme of this one, again, chase your dreams and hope, and there's always hope.
Yeah.
But
it's so good.
But one thing I would like to add about that movie, and being a minister, I've had the privilege to go to Angola prison, state prison, and go minister on death row. And when you watch a movie like Shawshank, and then you actually go in real life and go minister to people on death row, it puts in a whole different perspective. And it's a lot of them, a lot of the inmates that I came in contact with when I went to Angola, they they dream about being outside, being the freedom, but it scares them, and just would they be able to survive if they ever got out? They've been locked. When you get a taste of that freedom, will it consume you? It's just an incredible movie that just takes you on a roller coaster, and it very well could have been on my Mount Rushmore. Matter of fact, if there was maybe a fifth or sixth spot, it would have been on there. It's just
yeah, we call that
not
binge.
just not not just a top inspirational movie, but top movie of all time. I would even say that.
All right, man. Fantastic. Obviously, we crushed more on that. So, Jeff, we're going to keep going with you, man. But look, here we go. We are at number one. What is your George? This is your number one, the most inspirational movie, in your opinion. What you got for your number one?
The number one is Yo, Adrian.
Nice.
Yes. So to be more specific, the entire Rocky franchise is incredible. But the one that impacted me the most inspirational, something that I will watch several times a year. It has the same effect on me. Matter of fact, my bond to the movie gets deeper. It gets tighter each time I watch it, and it's Rocky IV.
There you go.
And it came out in 1985, 5 years before I was born. However, there's just so much to love about the movie. I feel like you see a different side of Rocky. You saw you kind of see him on the other side of his career. There's a lot of tragedy, but then there's triumph. There's a lot of just devastation, but then there's destiny. It was almost like it was meant to be, and just a wonderful underdog story that a bum, that's what his trainer called him, a bum from Philadelphia, had such an impact that he went into the enemy's backyard. And I'm not just talking about Ivan Drago. I'm talking about Russia. This was the middle of the Cold War. He went into the enemy's backyard and got a standing ovation. He completely brought peace. It's just, call it God, call it destiny, call it whatever you want. But he was used in a very pivotal part of the world, and just how just a poor bum from Philadelphia going to Russia and having such an impact, so much bigger than boxing, so much bigger than just a match, redemption, so much bigger than that, just unity, peace. I mean, just so many words can describe Rocky IV. And let's not forget about the soundtrack, one of the really most iconic soundtracks. That song, No Easy Way Out. I'm drawing a blank on the artist, but that song will get you going. It's got to be in everybody's workout playlist. It's No Easy Way Out. And just represent a representation of unity on a world scale. Just a small, young, I wouldn't say small, there's nothing small about Rocky, but just I guess you could say just somebody that came from nothing, having that kind of impact. Very inspirational.
Yeah.
The man collects is in the house. Welcome to the show. The man collects. I've met following in these communities. Welcome. Comic book dude, toy guy. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Hummus came out hot with Lean on Me. Stay tuned. I told you to stay tuned for Rocky. It was coming. But hey, also, if you're not subscribed, you better, because in 2 weeks we have sports movies coming out. And Jeff, you might be like the Swami, like Chris Burke. You know what's coming up. I think Rocky IV, I think makes the episode. But I love this movie. I love this movie so much.
The
my favorite
montage,
Rocky movie.
Oh, the training montage, incredible.
running through
It's
the
my
snow.
favorite Rocky movie for sure. When they're in Russia and he's doing all that, I mean, it's nothing now, like because it's 2024, but like this movie was 1985. In 1985, and he's punching that thing, and it counts up how hard he hits and all those things, and he's just crushing it, and they just make Drago look so bad to the bone, and also Stallone's wife, Bridget Nielsen, or ex-wife, was where he met her. This is a great movie, and I love the whole series. I even like, and we were talking about it today. Was talking to some friends about Rocky, and Rocky 5 came up, and about how it's not such a great movie. But I even like that movie because I have a connection with it. Because my very first concert I ever went to was MC Hammer, and he was on that soundtrack promoting that. So I love all these movies, man. Rocky is awesome, and it's such an inspiring. Underdog is the theme for this one for sure. And here's the thing: no matter how many Rocky movies you've seen, you know what's going to happen, right? He's going to get knocked down. You think he's not going to get up again? He's going to look out. He's going to see, his wife. He's going to see his trainer. He's going to see his kid. He's going to see somebody, and he's going to be like, "Yeah, I got one more." He comes back next round, boom, and he just wins out of control. And as cheesy as it sounds, it's what makes a good movie. It's a popcorn movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have fun watching these. I love this movie. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Carl Weathers, R.I.P. Carl Weathers,
Weathers,
R.I.P. Yeah, which is Apollo Creed. And all the new Creed movies are great too, man. Yeah. Adrian! Yeah, great. And here's the cool thing, which I didn't realize this. You see Rocky, right? I don't immediately, Rocky doesn't invoke intelligence. Matter of fact, Sylvester Stallone and most of the characters he plays don't bring out this widely intelligent person. But he wrote the original Rocky. Like he did the whole thing. That's crazy to me. Like, because you think about him, he's just like, oh, these must be some dumb idiot, whatever. And he did the whole thing, man. He's a great actor. Next week we have action characters. So we've done the action stars like Stallone, but maybe Rocky, maybe Rambo, maybe Cobra. Who knows? But great pick, man. Come back next week, man. You got dope snack. So, all right, Andy, what you got? How you finishing your mountain?
All right. So I'm changing it last minute. I'm going to change my George. And I'm going to cheat. I'm going to tell you what it was going to be. And the reason I'm not doing it. It was going to be a triple Rushmore. It was with Remember the Titans. It just was going to be that. But I'm changing it last minute because the more and more I ponder this.
I knew it.
I don't.
You knew it. You're crushing.
I was, but I'm not. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this. If I think inspiration, maybe this is the
Shawshank Redemption.
Again, right? No, I'm going to go with a movie from 2004, and I'm going with The Passion of the Christ. I'm going to go with The Passion of the Christ.
Cow. That's
and here's
crazy good.
Here's why. I mean, we're all ministers here. We're all Christians. Before we're ministers, we're Christians. We're believers. We're followers of Jesus. And there is not a movie. Let me tell you, we're all going to go to the scene, right? The crucifixion scene. And as difficult of a scene as that is to watch, there's no way you can watch that as a believer, as a follower, and not just be overcome with emotion, right? To realize now, this is a Hollywood depiction of this, but we know he suffered that, right? And probably even greater than what we can imagine for us. It's one thing to watch a movie and to see a brutal scene, right? If you've seen movies, and this one may get mentioned later by someone else, but like Saving Private Ryan, that's really tough to watch, right? It's another cadre movie. And you see that gruesome, the death and the sacrifice and all of those things. You see that, and you know that they sacrificed for us too. And it's similar in that sense. But when you watch this movie and you feel undeserving, you feel like like maybe people don't see you, people don't understand you, you can look at that and you can see this man gave his life for me. For me, in my darkness. We talked about testimony. We talked about where we were and where we were before Jesus, before we knew Jesus, and all that kind of stuff. But there's not a more inspirational movie. And it doesn't matter if it's your first time watching it and you're becoming a Christian. It doesn't matter if it's your 50th time watching it. It doesn't matter. When I read scripture and I read about the crucifixion, I get choked up. Now, you can't get through that stuff without feeling some emotion there. But to see it happen on the camera in front of you is just wild. And I'll say a couple of things. Barna put out a report. Yeah, I know. I did the cop out, Jeff. I understand. But as I'm thinking, golly. So you guys, I'm making you question your spirituality. No, I don't mean it in that sense. But my point is it's just when I'm thinking inspirational. But Barna put out a report, and it said it was some interesting stuff. Now, this is 2004. Okay, so we're talking 20 years now. 53% of people who saw the movie identified themselves as born-again Christians. By Barna's definition of that term, it's safe to assume that another large percentage of people who saw it would identify themselves as Christians. Now, this is interesting here. 41% of the respondents in this survey that Barna put out said that in the past 2 years, they had seen a movie that made them think about their religious beliefs. 59% of those people identified The Passion of the Christ as that movie that caused them to reconsider their faith. I mean, to have a movie that I don't know, we're never going to get the 100% statistic of what does this do, like how many people responded and gave their life to Jesus as a result of this movie. We're not going to know that, but it's safe to assume that many people, even if we don't know if they gave it planted that seed, and it said, hey, I'm just going to reconsider. I'm going to start thinking about this. Now, the results are Jesus, right? He's the one who handles all that kind of stuff. But for cinema to use this for ministry, for the gospel, is just fantastic and amazing. And the last thing I'll share is this: last summer at Kids Camp, Kirk, I don't agree necessarily with what the speaker did, but it did inspire some things. They showed this scene to our kids at Kids Camp. Totally came out of left field. We had no idea they were doing it. And Kirk can tell you how many kids did we have to minister to that night and the rest of that week, essentially just tearing up, bawling, crying. My own kid is being one of them. Kirk, your son is being one of them too, who's just deeply impacted. You can't get through this. And you talk about all of those inspirational things: forgiveness, sacrifice, love. I mean, all of these things that are just exemplified through this story and this true, real story that was retold in movie. And I don't think you can get more inspirational than that. So I had to take a moment to share faith, to share gospel, to do that. And that's, again, changing it last minute on this. I'm taking a Benjamin away from myself, but I had to bump him up there.
Hey, I love it. I love it. So a couple things. One, 281 reviews for the tomato meter. It got a 49%. That's Rotten Tomatoes, blah, blah, blah. People that don't know nothing. 250,000 plus ratings on the audience score of an 80%.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. When the world is majority not Christian, okay, the world is like a 10th Christian or something nowadays. I don't know what it is, but it's very, and to get 80%, like people just out of spite will show up and knock it, right? But it's a fantastic movie. I will say this: I hate subtitles, bro. I hate them. I hate them. This is one of the few movies that I watched with subtitles all the way through and enjoyed it. Like, the scene is very graphic. It's the very first time that we actually see Jesus in what the Bible says he kind of went through, the cat o' nine tails and all those things. So really cool to kind of see that. It is life-changing. It's pretty awesome. Oh, look, got a student in the house. Genesis in the house. The Genesis, we like to give her every Gen name known to man. So Gennaro, Genesis. We don't say Genesis. We say Genevieve, but she's trouble number 1. So welcome to the show, Genesis. You came just in time. We were talking about Passion of the Christ. But yeah, great movie. Great movie. Look, we lost some people, even in that. And it happens. I mean, it just happens. Hopefully you stick around with us, 7 people chilling. But I agree. Fantastic movie. Now, I will say this. For what it's worth, it's not something that I go back and watch. It's just not. Mainly because of the subtitles, but I'm not, even like The Chosen. It's really hard for me to watch it all. And not that I am anti-Christian movies, because I love Fireproof. Just sometimes, I don't know, I just get lost in the weeds watching it. And it's never like reading the word, right? And kind of living the word. But it is super impactful. And I love that you changed it. But I had your 3 peg, man. I had them. I almost did a Remember the Titans short yesterday, or the day before yesterday. But CapCut wouldn't let me share it right. So I was like, 'cause I would have had all 3 of them. Anyways. Oh, and look, some people are back. Hey, look, we're back talking about Passion of the Christ, but we still love the movie.
Jeff, anything else you want to
hanging out behind your shoulder, Andy, at all times.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm going to finish off with my
I was going to give Jeff a moment.
Oh, yeah, Jeff, what you got?
Yeah, so when Passion of the Christ came out in 2004, I was 14. I was not a Christian, and I'll just tell you my experience. Andy, he really hit up the movie really well, so there's not a whole lot that I can add to that. But I was 14, and I remember going to the movie theater in Bayou Vista, Louisiana, a little small town, and I did not watch the movie. Matter of fact, I did not watch the movie until I was I was saved probably 2012, but I do remember the impact that it had on people. I went and watched a different movie the same night that Passion of the Christ was airing in our local cinema, and I remember the grown people walking out of the theater in tears. And I'm like, what in the world's going on in there? Just completely just moved them. Now, what happened afterwards, I have no idea. But at 14 years old, I remember very vividly just the impact that movie had on all these people. I mean, there were kids coming out, there were teenagers, but mainly adults coming out and just, like, man, did somebody die in there? Well, yeah. And just, but I have to agree with Kirk. It's not something that I've watched it one time. It's not something I would go back and watch. It's something that, as a Christian, that we understand. And this isn't just a movie. This isn't just Hollywood. This is real to us. And to really understand his love for us, you have to understand what he went through, the death. But that's not the end of the story. I mean, he's alive. He's living in us. I mean, he's living in on this live stream right now, just using us as vessels. And so although his death was important, his resurrection is what made the difference, And so very, very great movie. Andy cheated. He picked Jesus. But no, most impactful, most cheats. Inspirational.
Jesus never cheats. So, hey, just real quick, Genesis, if you're still there, Cannon says hello. There he is. But yeah, awesome pick. All right, well, I'm gonna jump into mine. Andy, you had me pegged, I'm sure. Here it is. Carpe Diem. I'm going with Dead Poets Society. Robin Williams had him twice. Andy, Jeff got to pick Denzel twice, so I think it's quite fitting that I get to pick Robin Williams twice. And I have 3 more movies on my Benjamins to pick too. So if it's a different Robin Williams movie, but Dead Poet Society, I'm a teacher now, and I'm gonna tell you my biggest passion in the world. I'm telling you, there's not a bigger passion for me. I love watching my kids play sports. I love, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm an LSU fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm a sports fanatic. I love comic books. I love video games. I love friendships. There is nothing more important and nothing more fulfilling than mentoring people, young people, to be everything that they need to be. And as a teacher and a pastor, I love seeing people grow. Um, John Keaton is Robin Williams' name. He is a high school teacher. He comes in, and like the very first thing this guy does is makes him rip out the first page of every single book because of what some pompous somebody like Rotten Tomatoes wrote about poetry. Rip it all out, because those guys don't matter, and they start the Dead Poets Society. And here's the thing, man. The theme of this one is leadership. The theme of this one is mentorship. The theme of this movie, I mean, I was watching it today, just the 10-minute clip, and I was bawling because there's a student named Neil Perry. And Neil Perry, all he wants to do is be an actor, and his dad wants him to be a doctor. Ironically, he's a doctor in House, my favorite TV show of all time. But yeah, Neil Perry, which is played by Robert Sean Leonard, he just wants to be an actor, and so he goes to be an actor in Carpe Diem, seize the day. If you were here a couple weeks back, I had my captain from Iraq. When I was in Iraq, we had Carpe Diem on our refrigerator, really big, and he's encouraging these kids to like push against authority, to live their life, to do the things, to chase their dreams, to go out and not be conformed in a box, but to kind of be who honestly who God's made them to be. There's so many biblical and spiritual things that are built in, and there's some unspiritual things too, obviously. But favorite time when he stands up on the chair. Oh, by the way, Neil Perry's dad pulls him out of school. He's going to send him to boarding school. And here's another theme that's kind of run in a couple of these movies today. It was in Shawshank Redemption. It's in a couple of them that I'm thinking of. Is suicide. And there was a time in my life I wanted to commit suicide. Their scope of thinking in young minds. And I'll tell you this. There's two really big tragedies in this movie. The young man kills himself because his dad, which is just so heartbreaking. His dad's trying to force him to do something he's not wanting to do. And then eventually John Keaton kind of gets investigated and gets fired. And at the end of the movie, all the kids stand up on the mount on their chair and, "Oh, Captain, my Captain. Oh, Captain, my Captain." And man, it gets chills, and he just looks back and he says, "Thank you. Thank you." To live a life that's being fulfilled, when you see you can change the world one person at a time, that's what youth ministry is about. That's what being a teacher is about. You come in my class, I teach health. Now, it's supposed to be mental health, physical health, nutrition for elementary kids. I just had one of my Genesis in here a few minutes ago. But I also teach spiritual health in my own way without getting fired. And it's just like I live as Jesus with skin on. You see what I'm saying? Like I try to just be Jesus. That I might be the only Jesus these kids meet, so I try and do that as much as possible without literally preaching to them.
Yeah,
I love this movie. It is my George. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, from one of my favorite actors of all time. Dead Poet Society. And I don't even like poetry, bro. I don't.
Oh man, yeah, this is a great pick. This was your one. Knew it without a doubt. There was one, though, that didn't make it. That may make your Benjamins. That was a little bit surprising. It didn't make it in there. But regardless, this is a fantastic one. Oh, Captain, my Captain, right? Fun stuff. So, Jeff, have you seen this one?
I have not. There's 3 movies mentioned. That was one of them that I have not watched. Hidden Figures was the other, and Good Will Hunting. And so
you got some homework to do.
So some Robin Williams. Robin Williams, dude. And I got a couple more if you want to get on the Robin Williams train. I might have in these Benjamins. So look, guys, if you haven't been here in a while, well, first off, I haven't seen Dead Poets Society since I was probably 15. I should watch it again. Yeah. Bird, Word, just kidding. Hey, so Barry, I'm a Yankee fan, been a Yankee fan my whole life. Was born into pinstripes. And I've been a Chiefs fan since 92, so I ain't on this bandwagon. This bandwagon's been on my back since 92. I'm a Saints fan and a Pelicans fan by New Orleans. And I'm an LSU fan because I'm from Louisiana. Andy is a Roll Tide for whatever the frick reason. And he is a Saints fan. And as far as basketball, he don't really have a guy. He follows the Pelicans a little bit, I guess.
I don't care about basketball.
Yeah. That's
I like Shaq. Whatever Shaq finds himself to do. So
yeah,
I'm a fan of DJ.
Shaq a doodle, bro. But hey, you're going to be an LSU football fan this year because he coached our new signee in middle school. So what you got there? Oh, talk about hold on a second. The Astros are in the house. Had to bang the trash can. Yeah, there we go. I'm a Penguins fan when it comes to hockey, but hockey's not my jam. I cheer for them because when I was a kid, everybody was a Gretzky guy. I was a Yager. I was a Yager guy, and I was a Mario Lemieux guy. And then now they have Sid the Kid, but I'm not really a hockey fan. I would lie to you if I said I was.
Yeah, if I'm going to follow a team, which I don't, it would be the Anaheim Ducks, just because.
Oh, just because that's cool. And we talk about that movie a little bit in a couple weeks. Yeah, go Celtics. I'll cheer for the Celtics in this, but I do like Dallas. I like Luka.
Oh, no, go Mavs. Like I'm sorry.
But now it's time for our Benjamins. Andy, tune up the band. All about the Benjamins. Let's get it.
Let's find it. I'm so
it's our honorable mentions. I'm usually hitting the thing. I don't want to get kicked out.
Let's get it. All right, it's time for Benjamins.
Right on time. We just hit the 2-hour mark, and it is time for our second segment, which is all about the Benjamins. All about the Benjamins. If you've been around a while, we only have 5 people. Don't go away yet. We have 5 folks hang out with us. This is where we give all our honorable mentions. We cannot mention a movie that's already been mentioned, and once a movie gets mentioned, we can't mention it again unless we just want to just be like, oh, that was a great pick, but we can't take it. So you're about to get 12 new movies for the mountain. This is usually where some twists and such come in. I have a list of about 37 that I'm going to dig from. Man, I'm excited for this. Here's how it goes. Jeff, you're first. Andy second. I'm third. But it's like fantasy football. We come back the other way. So it's me, Andy, Jeff. And then back the other way. Jeff, Andy, me. And then finish it off. Me, Andy, Jeff. You get Brock Purdy. Hopefully it's more of a winner like Patrick Mahomes, not like Brock Purdy. But you're going to take that 4th pick. Had to throw that in there. I'm ready for this new season. Going for the three-peat. Barry, you're confused. Fantasy football, drafting. We're going to pick some. You'll catch on. Here we go. Honorable mentions.
I'm going to play some music too.
All right. My turn?
Yeah. So pick one that has not been mentioned.
So my pick is a Jim Carrey movie, Simon Birch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow. Many people, they don't realize that he's actually in that movie. But Simon Birch, that movie, it's a tearjerker. Just a wonderful story about friendship, unconditional love, friends that go through troubles, go through tragedy. But man, what a wonderful story about friendship.
Love it. That one came out of left field, but I like that. All right, so I'm up. My next one, rapid fire here. Try to fit this one on there. Ben Stiller, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. That is a fantastic.
Dude, I love that movie.
It's so good.
I love that movie. I love that movie. Like the whole movie's like dreaming, and he's in Iceland. I love that movie.
It's like cinematography too is amazing in this movie. Like just the shots. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
Hey, so Andy, I don't know what movie you think I'm going for, but I might have it. I'm going to probably save some stuff. But my very first one coming out the gate needs to be on the list. I saw it in the comments once, and Jeff, you said he's your favorite actor. Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah,
needs to be on this mountain. And look, here's the theme: just a dad trying to do his best, bro. Love it. Yeah. Love this movie. I'm going to go to another movie. Saw this one in the comments. My boy Hummus, where you at? You still out there in the comments? And it's right here. I didn't just write it, but I'm going with another formidable education piece. There's tons of teacher movies I can pick. I'm going with Morgan Freeman's Lean on Me. I'm picking Morgan Freeman's Lean on Me for my second Benjamin.
All right. So let me go here because then I'm going to come back to the other one. Watched this movie in the air on the way to Argentina, and it's such a good movie. I'm going with American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story. This is such a good movie.
He's about as Christian as you get when it comes to sports, bro. Yeah.
It's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. All right, so you're back up. Jeff, you get 2 back-to-back picks.
All righty. Well, Kirk took my next pick, so I'm going to go with The Guardian.
Nice.
Woo! Bro, right. The Guardian is also a cadre movie. Another Kevin Costner joint. And Ashton Kutcher. Dude, bro. Hey, if you haven't seen The Guardian, do yourself a favor. Go watch that movie.
Absolutely.
So good. Now you get another one going back the other direction.
So my next one will be Mighty Ducks D2.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeff, we should have had you on the sports show in a few weeks.
Dude, I have my son singing "We Are the Champions." It's crazy. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah,
I can speak for hours on it.
It's so good. That's so good. Emilio! I love this one. Okay, so going to my next one, Kirk, he said there's plenty of teacher movies out there. This one always goes to, I love this movie. 1988, we're doing Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver is such a good movie. I love that one.
Yes.
About LA inner city, getting these kids the test scores and all that kind of stuff, and then they get questions. It's just such a
I did my homework. The theme for this one: educational empowerment, importance of hard work, overcoming societal expectations.
Yeah.
Great pick. All right, I get 2 more. All right, I'm gonna go with I'm going to go with a movie that was in my war movies. I love this movie. It's awesome. Here, themes of faith, nonviolence, courage, stand on one's convictions, even in the face of death. I'm going with Hacksaw Ridge.
Wow.
Hacksaw Ridge. Have you ever seen this movie? The guy goes out, he doesn't want to carry a gun, and he saves people left and right. There's so many spiritual things in this movie. Freaking love that movie. It was on my war movies, and I'm going to finish off with another one. And look, there's a couple banger Robin Williams, but I'm going to go with the most unknown one, Andy. I don't know. This might be on you. I've mentioned it a couple times. It could be the one where he wears a bunch of makeup and one honks his nose. Not that one. I'm going with When He's Homeless. And listen, this is one of my favorite movies because I used to help the homeless on the streets. I'm going with a funny but very inspirational movie. Explores redemption, mental health, healing power, and compassion. The Fisher King. The Fisher King.
Nice.
Man.
Nice.
He's homeless. fantastic movie.
Yeah.
But there's still more.
Yeah. There's so many more. All right. So with my last pick, I'm going to go. I had to throw this one in there. Maybe not on your radars as an inspiring movie. Hey, what's up, Kevin? But my last pick is going to be, just because you're not in the band doesn't mean you're not in the band. Jack Black's School of Rock. Give it to me. Talking about finding some hidden talents, inspiring these kids.
Let me tell you.
It's such a great movie. Fantastic.
Look, my thing is laugh and cry. And I'm going to tell you, I've cried in that final performance more than once.
It's so good. I'll see this. Let me just, I know we don't talk about this a lot. There's been a couple things, obviously music is near and dear to me. So my oldest is now taking piano, and like that moment to see when she did her first recital and that she's taking this and like, and it's not like a living vicariously because I played music too, but it's just like finding your niche and like just going with it, like finding your passion. And she loves piano. So it's like one of those emotional draws there too. But secondly, like my first goal, and Kirk, you know this, in your leadership there was as the worship leader for youth. We now have these students built up to lead worship, and I don't really have to do anything anymore too. So like seeing that
fact
and stuff go is
one of the reasons Andy was in worship or in ministry is because I needed somebody to play drums in my worship team. I said, Andy, I'll come help you coach softball if you come help me play in the band. Because I have no music talent. None.
Yeah. Anyway, School of Rock, my last pick. So, Jeff, you get one more pick. What's your last one?
This is the last pick.
If you need help.
Okay. Well, we're going to go out with a bang. Top Gun.
Nice. Yeah.
Listen, wow. Listen, I had Maverick on my list. I didn't have Top Gun, but I had Maverick. They're both great. They're both fantastic.
Absolutely.
I love that. Hey, dude, those are fantastic mountains, man. We've done it. We have done it.
Brown. Hey, listen, you joke, Barry. You joke, but It's a Wonderful Life is on every single list I pulled up, and probably in the top 5. Every single.
Well, my favorite rendition of the inspiring Charlie Brown Christmas is Kirk as Snoopy. So
I was Snoopy in my church's Christmas thing right before I left for Atlanta.
Oh,
I was. I still have that somewhere. But anyways, hey guys, this was our show. Barry, thank you for being here. Hummus Hero, Kevin, thanks for joining. Wait, Kev, Big Kev, I gotta give you. Do you not? Yep, Kev, I'm giving you a moderator, bro. Everybody, if you have a channel, put it in the comments right now. This is your last chance. We're ending the show. Have anybody come and check your show out. And speaking of finding people, Jeff, this is your time to sell everybody what you got going on. How can they find your eBay store? How can they find your channels, wherever you're at, what you got going on? Share some goodness with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So my main platform is Facebook. I have my personal page, which I'm trying to get a lot of my friends and followers to move on over to the Retromaniac page. I do have a YouTube, which I'm going to start uploading a lot of my videos. I do a lot of content creation with my giveaways. Yes, I'm a reseller, but I really love to bless others. And so I do pretty special giveaways, and they've been pretty incredible lately. But you can find me on eBay, and it's Retromaniac. And what I have coming up is like I said, I really like the giveaways. I believe they're having a good impact. So I'm gonna continue to do that moving forward, but just getting more involved with the conventions. I went to one in Mississippi this past weekend. The Southern Nerd Festival. Just continue to do more.
The icon, baby.
Yeah, got to see Sting, one of my childhood heroes, and just getting more involved with the community, getting connected with guys like what we have here on the Rushmore Show, and just continue to build relationship. I'm also very involved in the wrestling community as a fan. A lot of these wrestlers have become fans of mine, so you may see me around along the Gulf Coast. I won't be at Louisiana RetroCon this year in the fall because I'll be at a show in Mississippi. Vladimir Koloff, who is a hot wrestling prospect right now, he personally invited me to their 2-night event. Yes.
There he is.
Yes, the man.
So
The
tell me
legend.
real quick, how do you, so aside from following him, how do you know him?
So I met him, let's see, last year.
You seem to be pretty close friends with him.
We are, and it's all because of my son. Now, kind of tell you how it went down. So I met him last July at Cajun Heat in Morgan City, which is the local wrestling promotion, GSW. It's their biggest show. And so, so Vladimir Koloff comes out. He's the big Russian bad guy. Everybody's booing him. But he has a really cool attire, a really cool mask. And my son is a big Spider-Man fan. And he saw him and connected him and associated him with Spider-Man. So fast forward, intermission happens. This is the time you go meet your wrestlers, take pictures. And Vladimir Koloff, because he's the bad guy, he's standing all by himself at the merchandise table. And I kind of feel bad thinking about it. Like, this guy he's very special, and people don't realize it because he's the bad guy. But Emmett, he pointed, he said, I want to go take a picture with him. So I went up to this guy who just insulted everybody in Morgan City, Louisiana. I said, hey, sir, my son would like to take a picture with you. Would that be okay? And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but he dropped the Russian accent and he said, absolutely. And, you know, the way he embraced my son, it was just like, this guy has a big heart behind the mask. And
What?
yeah, and you're not supposed to do that in wrestling. So I'm sorry, Vladimir, in advance. Just being raw, being real here. And we just got connected. And I messaged him on Facebook, really thanked him. And I had an idea to do something special, a personalized happy birthday message for my son's birthday. And Koloff did it. And it was very special. We got him tickets.
You got him like a PlayStation 2 or something?
Well, yeah. So fast forward, we get connected. We become, I would say we're friends. But we wanted to do something special for him because of everything he done for my son. So I built him a customized Super Nintendo and gave him a bunch of different things in there. Yeah, he's a big Super Mario World fan. Super Nintendo is, I think, his favorite console. And then we also gave him some other good stuff, some rare games like Mega Man X2, Mega Man X3. We really blessed him, but he's blessed us so much more. And so he's so much more than just a wrestler. We kind of adopted him into the family. He's family. He might get a Christmas gift this year.
Hey, speaking of wrestling isn't fake, some of my favorite TikToks of all time is so wrestling isn't fake, and then they show the outlandish stuff that happens.
Then how do you explain this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, how do you explain that it ain't fake? It's like, yeah, whatever. Well, I love it, dude. For you, my 9 friends that are still left, I met Koloff and I met Mustang Mike along with Andy at Louisiana RetroCon, and we got to interview him. The interview for that is in our convention playlist. We got a bunch of playlists. I just went and updated them all. In that first day playlist, we interviewed both of them, and it was really awesome because they did stay in character, getting ready for the big match. And then at the end, he kept making fun of me, and he kept like, your beard smells like your beard smells, no, you smell like beard oil and depression. And I mean, yeah, just funny. So I started bantering with him and making fun of him, and because his table was across the way. And then I walked up to him and I was like, hey man, I know that you're gonna hold this up all night. Whatever, we can do it. It's fun. But on a side note, if you ever want to come on and be your guy and have a fun on our show, you are welcome. And I gave him our card and our sticker. And I've messaged him on Instagram a couple times, but he's got like 700 different things going on. Need more Koloff, but we haven't really actually connected. But he said that he was going to come on in August, or yeah, potentially August with Mustang Mike. So I was going to try and connect both of them for a show, see if we can't get that going and do some wrestling, talk wrestling. So that falls into nostalgia. We love wrestling here, although we really think it's real. So
it is.
Yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for being on the show. Everybody go, and if you like retro things, go support Retromaniac. He's got some great stuff on his eBay store. If you see him out at the convention, say hello. That's saying that you saw him on the show. We'll be at some more conventions soon. We've got St. Tammany Collectors Con. We got Louisiana Retro Con. We're going to be doing Nerd in the Word reboot, Unconventional Ministry there. We'll be having the spin wheel. With that, there are some shorts coming out from the last few conventions. Now that summer's here, I got a lot more time. I can do a bunch of stuff. Guys, if you see those shorts, do us a favor. Watch them like 3 times, man. Share those things. We've been trying to put shorts out, letting know for each one of the shows. You'll see some Dope Smack shorts coming out this week with some action stuff going on. I'm super excited for next week. And then we got a little bit of break, and we are out of here. But, man, thanks to all you folks down there telling us great episode and good stuff. Barry, Random Ribs, Hummus, Kevin, everybody that showed up in the comments all night. Farrell, Genesis, Bill Key showed up and probably jumped out. Your brother, Chris, going on and on and on. Do me a favor, guys. If you're not already subscribed, you made it this far, please subscribe. If not, share things on the Instagram. Go find us on all the socials. If you want to be on the show, we need one more guest. Listen, this is your chance. If you're out there and you want to be on the show, we need one more guest. It's a pre-recorded show. We'd like to probably film it next week, potentially on Friday. But sometime next week. The guy I had lined up had to fall out because it's a pre-record. It's not going to be Friday night live. So if you guys want to jump on, Jeff, you're welcome to do another one. We just need to come up with a topic, figure out what we want to do. I would love to have whoever else wants to be on. Connect with me and Andy on Instagram or Facebook. And we will pre-record that next week. We'll talk it over. And, man, great show. Andy? I think it's... Oh, there it is.
I've been working this whole time while you're talking. Check us out.
That's our first Mean Gene and Tony Schiavone interview. Look at that with not only with Koloff and so here they are again. For if you guys weren't here in the beginning of the show, here they are, Mustang Mike, and they had a big. Did they already fight?
No, July 13th.
July 13th, and if I'm understanding correctly, they're both heavyweight champions right now in different organizations, right?
Yeah, and you have old school versus the current, and both phenomenal wrestlers, athletes, human beings. I'm split. You know, you got my childhood versus my son's childhood, and it's going to be an incredible show.
Incredible show. I'm so jealous that you got Sting. I was in town for that because I went home for Memorial Day and for whatever, but it was Saturday, and Saturday we had the huge event. And look, there it is. Saturday we had the huge event. I couldn't figure a way to make it out there and make it back for the event, but I would have definitely came and tried to hang out with the Crow and get his auto. Got Sergeant Slaughter's autograph a couple weeks back. That was awesome. And that was a fun time. Are there any wrestling movies? Yes. Stay here to the sports movie, because on sports movies, I dropped the best wrestling movie of all time. Kind of a getaway.
All right. Well, hey, we're about 2.5 hours into this, guys.
We're here. Time to tell everybody good night.
Yeah. Well,
that's the second best one, and that one's also mentioned.
There you go. Well, Jeff, again, thanks for coming on. Thanks for hanging out tonight. But I think it's time for us to say goodnight, like we always do. This
Chris,
is
not Iron Claw.
Nope. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4
and nothing more.
Top 4.